This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello Scorpio and Scorpio rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Gemini happening on the 30th of May. This is going to be a lovely break from some of the hectic shedding that we've all gone through the last month during eclipse season. There's been so much obvious repercussions from that period of time. Some really beautiful. There's been a lot of really beautiful new fresh starts, change finally. But there's also been some more difficult aspects to that as well. So for the Gemini new moon, this is a nice, normal, regular, no fuss, no muss new moon. This is a time for us to sit with the energy and to start doing some spell work and call in what it is that we'd like to see happen in our existence. So I'm going to talk you through some of the planetary aspects that are happening upstairs right now. There's some slightly difficult ones, but there's also some positive ones too. So we'll get the tricky ones out of the way first of all. Saturn is still in Aquarius at 25 degrees, this time finding itself in a square with Mercury at 26 degrees in Taurus. Mercury is also retrograde. So there might be some restriction in communication that you're feeling at the moment, or messages being cross-wired or not really getting what it was you meant to say across. You might be being misread in some way, or you might be feeling a bit silenced. You might be feeling under a gag order. So that's happening. However, at 9 degrees in Gemini is where the new moon is happening. This is where this lunation of manifestation is happening. Now, Gemini rules your 8th house, which is gorgeous because you traditionally rule the 8th house. This is your language, Scorpio. When we think about Gemini and the ability to communicate and transfer and chitter-chatter, all of that kind of stuff, this is, you know, this book back to front. You know 8th house stuff. You know what it is to regenerate. You know what it is to dive to the depths, to really feel those emotions and to dredge them up for everyone to witness and to move through and to work with. So that's your language. This is the energy that we're going to be working and manifesting with at this new moon. What is it in your soul contracts that needs to be communicated? What do you still feel bound to? What is it that you feel needs a rebirth? What needs to be brought up from the past? What needs to be plunged and fossicked and dragged to the surface? Think about all of that, because this is the time to call it in, to manifest. The tarot card that correlates with 9 degrees of Gemini, which is where this lunation is taking place, is the 8 of Swords. So have a think about what it is that you're feeling constricted by. What truths, how many versions of the truth do you feel have calcified in your brain and have built up some sort of cage that you're finding difficult to break through? Use the positivity of the new moon to release yourself from some of these overbearing thought forms that are getting in your way. The truth is a very interesting thing. The truth is always about perspective. There are many truths. There are many perspectives. And the mind can sometimes do all that it can to hold us where it thinks we need to be. This could be nervous system stuff. This could be locked in preservation. This could be trauma that's coming up for you. That's very 8th house. But remember that the moon is in a lovely, gentle, supportive energy, a sextile with Mars and Jupiter in Aries. So Jupiter, we all know, it expands everything it touches. It's so supportive and it magnifies the feelings of whatever planet it's in company with. At the moment, that is Mars, who is at home in Aries. Mars couldn't be happier. Mars would much rather be in Aries at all times. The tarot card that correlates with 4 degrees of Aries where Mars is the Two of Wands. And that is a Mars in Aries card. That is the moment to draft up the map and to look forward and get the ball rolling on these passion projects or on this new perspective, on this journey forth, this adventure, this pilgrimage. So think about that. I mean, Aries rules your sixth house, which is kind of your day-to-day, everyday tasks. It's also how you take care of your body. A lot of Scorpios do have a real sense of awareness about their health and that sort of thing. So use some of that. Maybe in these terms, it could be to do with your mental health. Actively take those steps to make sure that you're regulated and that you're not getting too swept away with whatever might be triggering you at the moment. Because let's face it, there's a lot of triggering stuff that's happening and you're in absolutely no detriment for feeling on edge right now. But I want to wrap you up in the possibility of what the moon can bring. So that's the planetary aspects, that's the sky speaking. I also pulled you a separate tarot spread that we can read in a more intuitive sense and see what comes out of this reading and how we can relate that to what's going on upstairs. Beautiful thing. I love to sew tarot and the planets together because they just are quite literally written for one another. So on the back of the deck, I got the Two of Cups, which is a lovely base note for this reading. This is going to give us some context and this is going to help flesh out the planetary reading. The Two of Cups talks about a soul connection. It talks about two folks coming together in unity and sharing something very intimate and very emotional. It's a lovely card. It's a Cancer card. So if you think about the way that a Cancer personality or a Cancer soul loves and loves to love and has boundless empathy and compassion for those that they're intimate with, this sometimes could be a card of reconciliation or a new beginning. This could be potentially a new relationship, a freshness that you're entering into. When we think about 8th house though, and we tie in some of that Scorpio stuff, this could be a rebirth of some kind. I also got the 8 of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, and then the Ace of Pentacles. So this is going to happen quite suddenly. You're going to really feel it necessary. It's going to happen in your body. You're going to hear, you're going to feel, you're going to know that the time is right to act on this reconciliation or this new adventure. There has been a sense of choice. There's been a sense of unsteadiness. There's been toing and froing between either two options or two possibilities. There's been something that needs to find its sort of counterweight, and that's being achieved by this final Ace of Pentacles. That's throwing the one more on the two. So whatever it is, whoever it is that you're thinking about, wherever it is that you're going, know that this is going to be the start of something really regenerative and really grounded. And it will be if you consider some of the other aspects that we've talked about in this reading. So think about Mercury in its retrograde position. Think about wires being crossed and perspective. Think about Saturn and its restriction. Sometimes feels like a gag order, but also Saturn does talk about propriety and the right way to go forward with something. So this is really lovely for you, Scorp, and you're at home in the 8th house. You know how to call it in. You know how to make the wishes and ask for regeneration. You're not frightened of endings, and you're brilliant at new beginnings. I'm going to leave this one nice and short and sharp. It's really, what a lovely reading. I love how these two separate spreads are tying themselves into each other. Please head over to my website if you'd like a private reading, or you can also head to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby if you'd like to sling me some tuppence. Much love, new moon blessings. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks for the full moon in Sagittarius. Until then, take care, Scorpio, and know that you are built for this. You know what to do and you know how to call it in. I'm super proud of you. Let's communicate. Let's be mindful. Let's get it done. Much love. Ta-ra.